Hi there, welcome to Island Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Scorpio energy and see how different people are handling this energy, because we've all got free will and we have the free will to kind of grow up and mature ourselves and temper our ego and our other aspects of our shadow nature to invest in truth and love. But some people have a harder time doing that than others, and some people don't even want to do love. That's shadowy Scorpio. You know, we're complex emotionally, and some people decided at some point in their life that, well, it's too confusing. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to kind of use my emotions kind of superficially, and I think that's good enough. And so then it can kind of feel like you're kind of more in a relationship where someone's having sex with you, but it never becomes a more deep, meaningful relationship because they don't connect in with themselves emotionally. And then other people maybe don't want to keep staying in a relationship with them. And okay, boy, the cards really got messed up. The overarching reason for the reading is the Five of Swords, which is Aquarius energy. I have a dream. It's just that some people, they decide, I'm going to live more from my mind than my heart, and other people have healed. And they want to move forward in truth and love. Everybody could be holding on to their foundation of truth and holding back from people in their life who they feel aren't motivated and inspired by love. And the people who know they're not motivated and inspired to be in a deep, meaningful relationship are holding back from some people in their life who, in the Seven of Cups, which is Scorpio, the Four of Swords of Libra, and the Gemini energy of the Lovers, and the Eight of Wands, are holding back from people who they know are more balanced, want a more just and fair and balanced relationship, and are more inspired by love. And they know they don't want to do that. And if they've already been in a relationship with that person, that's why they're holding back. If that was their truth, they'd probably invest in it. But it's not. And other people, you know, it can be confusing, because if you have someone who's motivated and inspired by love, you could think everybody is. Isn't everybody motivated and inspired by love? Doesn't everybody want to do love? But the truth is, in people's free will, which is the Lover's card of Gemini, when people had that opportunity to have more hope and faith and belief in love and in themselves, they could have had mental conflict with it. In order, they'd have to work through things that make them defensive, or past pain and heartbreak, or whatever, you know, or a more worldly view of life. And shadowy Scorpio can be, life's about death, sex, and taxes. That is what world's about. And it's about the ego and the image and the status and me. And I'm going to have sex in a relationship. I'll get in a relationship with someone else that maybe isn't more motivated by love either, and is willing to be in a relationship because this makes practical, logical sense. That's kind of like the Seven of Pentacles. This would be a good investment, and we should do this. And then it's creating the illusion that it's a just and fair and balanced relationship based on love. But sometimes it's more living, this makes logical, practical sense. And at the end of the story, we have a card not showing itself, which is the Six of Wands, which is Leo energy. We're either being authentic and loving and have worked through our inner conflict, or we haven't. And a card in reverse can mean extreme. Some people are very, very much aligned with their worldly egoic nature, or being about themselves, or looking victorious and successful in the world is the driving factor in their life, and they're not inspired. It is all about just creating the illusion so people will get in friendship and relationship with them, for them to look like victorious and successful. But it's not really love as a driving factor as to why they get in relationships. And more shadowy Five of Swords can be, I want to win at all costs, and I don't really care who gets hurt, because it's really just more about me and my image and my status and all those things, or just being about me. Okay, so we start out with the Five of Pentacles in reverse, the Ace of Pentacles, and the High Priestess. Now, we could have all had relationships before that didn't work out, and we can all have some mental conflict about it. But, and we all could have felt left out in the cold. But people don't want to keep feeling left out in the cold, and they don't like being in mental conflict, so they want to have a new beginning. It's just that some people really did the work within themselves. In high vibe, that's what the Ace of Pentacles about. I did work within myself to heal, to see the truth of where I need to heal and grow and mature myself, see the truth about other people I was working with, see the truth that maybe we had different viewpoints in life, had different ideas of what was just and fair, that, kind of in the Five of Pentacles, that either the truth of how we want to move forward is different and the driving truth in our life is different. And I don't want to keep moving forward with people who their truth isn't the same. And if I am more motivated, and if it's to be a loving relationship, love is supposed to be just and fair. And you're supposed to treat other people the way you like to be treated. And you're really supposed to be motivated and working together with them from love. And that's when some people work through feeling left out in the cold, because they probably want this dream to come into reality and realizing my dream can't come into reality with them, because they aren't really authentically motivated and inspired by love. It's these other reasons. So I see the truth of it. And I've also probably learned during this situation to listen to my intuition, where before maybe I didn't listen to my intuition. So now I'm going to listen to my intuition, and the high vibe people are going to take action out of love for themselves and in an energy of love, that if other people, if their truth is different, if how they want to move forward is different, if they want to be in relationships with other people, if they're driven and motivated by different things, I'm not going to invest in them anymore, because I probably have communicated my truth in love. And I accept the truth that from the Four of Pentacles to the Seven of Pentacles, in our Three of Pentacles energy of Capricorn, of what we view as victorious and successful, and the foundation we operate from is different. And theirs could be more about the world for some of them. Other people, they just are in other loving, just, fair, balanced relationships, and it wasn't with me. Whatever the case, I accept the truth of it. And I take back the Three of Pentacles. I accept that everybody's where they're at. I've seen who I do want to work with, who I don't want to work with. There could be people in my life that are good role models for me. There's some people in my life who I think are bad role models. And I have my truth of what I think is just and fair. Other people have their truth of what is just and fair. And some people I'm holding back from, because I think they have illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. And their ideas of what they think is just and fair is not my truth. So I'm not going to invest in them anymore. And they can move on in their life the way they want to move on. And I don't want to invest in them anymore. And I have my truth of what I think is just and fair. And that's what I'm going to invest in. And we can always have some mental conflict, but I'm going to offer truth and love to it, to keep looking at life from a higher perspective, believing in myself, believing in my dreams, listening to my intuition, maintain balance within myself, and believe that from love and the energy of love. But again, we could have had a confused perspective about love, that aren't you just supposed to be loving and encouraging to everyone, and everybody's motivated by love, and kind of lost a little bit of the concept that it is to be just and fair. And we could have indulged some poor behavior in ourselves, could have indulged some poor behavior in others, and have learned I need to take accountability within myself to heal and get balance within myself. And when I work together with other people, that it is to be just and fair. Let me see here. The water signs are offset by the earth signs. Scorpio is offset by Taurus. So in our Taurus Scorpio energy, it is about trying to come into balance. That in Taurus earth sign energy and emotionally in our Scorpio energy, we could want some of these things of the world, but we could have had a lack mentality, maybe felt we had to work more with these things of the world, could have had more mental conflict about loving and believing in ourselves, um, could have been tipped more in favor of making our life more about these things of the world or things that we indulged in, and kind of realizing that those things and that isn't the answer. And I need to get clear about what my truth is, because the Five of Swords comes after the Four of Swords. I need to meditate on the truth and I need to heal. Or I could repeat some of those patterns, and I don't want to repeat certain patterns in my life, and I don't want to act certain ways anymore. I don't want to behave in certain ways anymore. I don't want to be in certain type of relationship dynamics or workplace type dynamics. I need to get clear about my truth and take action on my truth. And from love, be loving to other people, treat other people the way I like to be treated, but not indulge people. And it has to be just and fair. And if other people that I could meet don't want to work together, the Three of Pentacles can talk about working more cooperatively in a more just and fair way. I get out of my ego about it. I see the truth of it. I wish you peace. And from the Five of Swords down to the Four of Swords, I let go kind of the idea that, we can work together in a more just and fair and balanced and loving way if people show me that's not their truth and the foundation they operate from. I just kind of make note of it, whether it's a coworker or someone in the community or someone in my family is like, okay, you do you. If I don't have to work with you or invest much more time and energy and effort into you, I won't, because I want to work together with the people who are more willing to be inspired to work together with me in a more just and fair way. And I accept the truth that some people aren't inspired. That's fire sign energy of the Six of Wands, that aren't inspired to work together with people in a more just and fair way. And it can be because some of those people's truth is they're just more closed off, a little more selfish. They might present themselves. The kings can represent how people present themselves in the world. And we can all present ourselves in the world any way we want. And some people could present themselves as like loving family people or whatever. But then, they don't really open up. And that can be like shadowy Scorpio. I want to create the illusion I'm a more just, fair, authentic, loving person, but I still have things that kind of manipulate me, that I'm not willing to be more authentically myself or be more inspired by love. But I want to work together with people, but, those things still manipulate them, that they kind of don't work well together with others and can be maybe a little selfish or a little stubborn or a little defensive. So it's like, okay, I see the truth of it. It is what it is. And I accept the truth of it. And I'm going to move on out of love for myself. And I'm not going to try to change you. You do you. The fives can talk about change. All I can do is treat people the way I like to be treated. And they have their free will to determine how they want to act or interact or react or whatever. And I'm not going to get my ego about it, because our ego can, well, like, why isn't that person working together with me? And why aren't they being more just and fair? And sometimes loving people can put a lot of work and effort into, like, I don't understand why you're acting like that. And then they put a lot of work and effort to try to figure it out because it's confusing. Like, if you work with people in a just and fair way, you don't understand why other people don't. And it's just like, I'm done. Everybody's got free will. And apparently there's something that kind of stops you from being able to work together with people in being more authentic or loving or encouraging or just or fair, or working with people more cooperatively. You can figure that out. I'm going to move on. And I see that, we're kind of harness our Leo energy differently. One person could operate a little more from their defensive egoic nature, which can be trying to manipulate and control people. I don't really want to do it your way. That's why I do it this way. It's like I accept the truth of that. I don't really enjoy working with you. So if I don't have to, I'm not going to. And I'm going to invest my time, energy, and effort more into people who don't seem to have a problem. And aren't trying to manipulate and control people and, you know. Everybody could have detached from some foundation that wasn't aligned with their truth. If some people know I was in a relationship with people who are loving, but that's not really my truth. That isn't what really drives and motivates me. I could be more about myself. I could be more about looking like a shining star in the world. And those people have the illusion that they're going to get justice. They're going to just present themselves as loving and hope that other people don't see through the illusion of who they are and will move forward with them in a relationship. And even if later those people find out that, oh, you were kind of wearing a false mask and you're not really motivated and inspired by love, and it is more about the ego and the image and the status, then it's up for those people to decide, are they willing to give up their dream and what they think is just and fair because in a lot of ways it could seem loving, the people can act loving, and there can be a lot of compatibility, and in a lot of ways it seems just and fair, but it's kind of settling for the illusion of love. And that's for those people, the next people who get work at that place or get in a friendship or relationship with someone. You've already decided with some people, that's not my truth. I do not view that as victorious and successful, and I don't want to be in a relationship with them anymore, or people like that. Now, some people are kind of full of themselves, and if they have a certain status or image in the world, of course, they think people should want to be in a relationship with them. And they could put work and effort to have more status or image or their attractiveness or their social clout or whatever in order to get people to view them a certain way. And then if they think they have created this certain illusion about who they are, they could keep thinking that other people that they may have been in a relationship with before, that, oh, one day those people will work through their emotional confusion or illusions and they'll come back and want to invest in me. Well, some of those people could be starting to have some mental conflict because some of the people who held back from them and aren't investing in them, some of those people aren't coming back to get in a relationship with them. And since they just create an illusion and they operate more from ego and wanting to have, that we should do is practical and logical. And if they view themselves as like, in general, I present myself as this loving person and I have this stability and security and kind of look like a shining star in the world, you should come back and be in a relationship with me. And they just don't get it yet, that some people don't view them as someone they want to be in a relationship with, but they haven't wanted to see the truth yet. And they could keep waiting for someone to want to come back and get in a relationship with them. But they don't see the truth that some of those people don't want to be in a relationship with them. Some of the high vibe people don't want to be in a relationship with them anymore. And even some more shadowy people that they could have gotten in a relationship with don't want to be in a relationship with them, because shadowy people can be a little stubborn, I want you to be caught up in the illusion of me. I want you to be more just and fair and motivated by love and indulge me in a relationship. I think that's just and fair. But the other shadowy person is kind of in their ego and is like, well, no, that's a shadowy Taurus relationship. Whoever seems to have more of the status, the image, attractiveness, social clout, whatever, that people want, they have this illusion that the way they view life, that they should be the more indulged person in the relationship. Well, if they go get in a relationship with someone who kind of views life like them, we could have two kind of stubborn, prideful people. No, I'm the one who should be indulged. No, I'm the one who should be indulged. And then they can both separate from each other. They could like each other, could want to be in a relationship with each other, but both kind of stubborn and prideful. And maybe even get in other relationships with other people to try to manipulate the other person to get them to concede their position. Are you willing to make it more about me? And I can be more stubborn and prideful. Do you think I have more of these things of the world that you want? And for people that are very worldly focused, yeah, that can cause them a lot of mental conflict because they really want those things. And they want that status and that image. And if together they would have that status or image, they could really, and they could like each other and stuff like that. But it could just be two stubborn people who, because of this philosophy of life that they have, neither one is willing to concede. And it's always trying to manipulate the other person to get them to do what they want. And the high vibe people that have been in relationships with these people already know that. And they're like, oh, thank God. Eventually I saw the truth and saw that these people are much more manipulative, that shadowy Leo, are more manipulative, prideful, egotistical, more about themselves, superficial and shallow. And thank God I got out of it. And the high vibe people have changed. No more illusions about people. If I meet people who do seem more superficial, more defensive, more materialistic, more ego driven, I don't want to be in a relationship with them anymore. And I also had to get out of my illusions that everybody's motivated and inspired by love, because I've seen the truth that some people aren't. And it's just more about kind of indulging themselves in a relationship so long as it looks good and works out for them and it's good for their ego and their image. I don't view that as something, no more illusions, and also getting out of my ego about it. So I think the high vibe people are moving forward in life and having some new beginning, could be in work, friendships, or relationships. Open to what the divine has in store for them. Taking action more aligned with truth and love and maintaining balance within themselves, not being in their ego. And again, some people don't see with this Eight of Wands kind of being hidden, that some people are moving forward in life, just other people might not know it. And also the Eight of Wands in Sagittarius energy can be about higher learning and education. And that's what some people don't see about some people. If you're someone who's much more driven to get in relationships and stay in relationships more for these worldly reasons, they can't understand it and can't relate to it, because in their Sagittarius energy, they're more motivated to get in relationships and stay in relationships more out of fear, insecurity, lust, greed, codependency, money, and materialism. And they just don't look at life from a more higher perspective, like there's a higher truth and a justice to aspire to, because they think the only game in town is the world, and the world tells you you should make your life about this, and if you make your life about that, you'll be happy. And they are caught up in the illusion of the world. And still those things are more what drives and motivates them. Or their fear nature, or their stubborn nature, or their self-protective nature. And some people aren't inspired to ever step out of their comfort zone. to take more creative inspired action in their life. They can get in new relationships, but shadowy energy is like dead energy. I want to keep doing the same thing. I don't want to step out of my comfort zone. I might get a new job, a new friendship, a new relationship, but I want to move forward like this. This is my truth. This is what I want to invest in. I have a problem with change, but I will create an illusion that I'm more just and fair and willing to take maybe your dreams and aspirations into account, but that's really just an illusion I create. And I'm hoping once I get you in the relationship and you kind of see that I have my way of viewing life, and that's the way I want to do it. And it's kind of more my way, and not working with you more cooperatively in a just and fair way to take your dreams and aspirations into account. I'll create the illusion I am, and you'll feel like we're moving forward, but really, I am not willing to do that to any significant degree. I want to keep doing this. And sometimes shadowy people look for people who have money, who might have mental conflict, might still be caught up in the illusion that everybody's motivated by truth and love. And it's like, great, you think I'm motivated by truth and love. You maybe don't know the truth about me. This is great. I'll move forward with you. It's good for my ego and my image. Oh, but by the way, it's never going to be more motivated by love because I don't do love. Other people are looking for people who are more fearful, want a dream to come into reality, who they could think are more motivated like them by being in a relationship to be in a relationship for these reasons. And if those people are willing, think it makes logical, practical sense, they might move forward in it because neither one of them are really motivated and inspired by love. And it's just trying to create the illusion that it's maybe based on love when it's not. It seems like it makes practical, logical sense, and it's good for their ego and image. It looks like they've healed, they've grown, they've matured, but neither one of them have healed and grown and matured. And they're probably both people who have a problem with being more just and fair in a relationship. But for now, it seems like a good investment. And so long as they get along good enough and no one else comes along that might have more status, more image, more fear, more insecurity, more codependency, more status, image, or power, they'll maybe stay in it. But to build a solid foundation, it needs to be based on truth and love. Otherwise, you're building a foundation on shifting sand. And it's just kind of waiting to see if someone else comes along that it would make more sense to be in a relationship with that person. And then it's like, oh, sorry, yeah, you can go. Yeah, no, somebody else made me a better offer. And it really is just more about me. And I was really just creating an illusion that it was love and that I was more just and fair and motivated by love, but I'm not. And some people could be experiencing that right now. Some people could be trying to get someone to invest in them, and someone has some mental conflict about it because trying to maybe just figure out if it's their truth. They could like the person. There could be a lot of things about it that seem just and fair, but is it my truth? Is this really aligned with my truth and my dreams? Or am I willing to give that up? Because the difference between the 8 and the 6 is the 2 of Wands if I have a dream. Is this my dream? Is this what I envision for myself? I could like the person. I could think in a lot of ways they're just and fair and we could have a lot of things in common. But, do I kind of hold back? Do they kind of hold back? Is it love? Isn't it love? Is it lust? Is it the status? Is it the image? Is it the fear? Is it the insecurity? And some people will decide to work through it and make a decision, and other people will just decide to keep moving forward with it. You know, we'd have to be willing to invest in our truth and get out of our ego. And the more a problem a person has about quit being more concerned about what people think and live your more authentic life, the more people are going to keep moving forward with things, even if it's not aligned with their truth. What's coming up for some people who harness some high vibe Scorpio energy? Some people could have met some people or know some people that they could view as someone that they think is more on the same page as them, but people could still be just healing from past situations, you know, really want to make sure that's over and done before they get involved in a new relationship. You know, shadowy Sagittarius can be where people kind of, if you feel like people kind of want you to chase them, it's like, yeah, no, not doing that. You know, I'm going to act my truth, live my truth. If that's your truth, let me know. If it's not, yeah, no. Then you might be someone who wants to be indulged in your ego. And then those people, if some people do want to kind of be indulged in their ego and like, well, you should kind of be more overt, it's like, no. You know, we either go with the flow and get to know each other and other people in your life. It can be that. Just getting to know each other, going with the flow. Not taking action more out of ego. What's coming up for some people who harness some high vibe Scorpio energy that they might not see coming? The Ten of Swords, the King of Cups, the Eight of Cups, the Five of Pentacles, the Star, the Three of Swords, the Ten of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, and the King of Wands. And the reason that came out is because of the Three of Wands. So, the high vibe people have a dream. And they've realized their dream isn't going to come into reality with some people. And they don't also want to be in relationships with people who want to wear a false mask. So, you know, my dream can only come into reality with other people who are kind of free to get in a relationship and motivated and inspired by love. So out of love for myself, I'm going to offer myself that cup of love, take the lessons I've learned. That's like the Ace of Pentacles. Take the lessons I've learned that, you know, people who are motivated and inspired to work together with me in a just and fair way would. People who want to heal a relationship with me would. And if it's people I already know, I've probably already communicated my truth in love. And I have to accept the truth. The people in my life who are willing to work together with me, and still in my life and have been in my life or whatever, you know, but there could be other people, friends, family, adult children, parents, brothers, sisters, whoever, that I could have reached out to, and I could have some people reach out to me, just like I'm reaching out to other people, and other people could want to get to know me. I could want to get to know other people. I'm willing to get to know people, but I am going to listen to my intuition. And if people seem to be more about themselves, people seem to wear a false mask, some people seem to be more about indulging themselves, have a more worldly viewpoint of life and be more motivated by the ego and the image and the status, it's like, no thanks, that's not my truth. And I have hope and faith and belief in my dreams. I'm not going to settle for the illusion. And I could be heartbroken that some people in my life or in my family or in a workplace kind of want to repeat this old pattern of harnessing it in a more shadowy way, but I've already seen the truth. And I've been there and I've done that, and it doesn't make me happy. If it's not based on truth and love and emotionally growing and maturing yourself and being inspired by love, then my dream can't come into reality with you anyway. And there could have been people that I was hoping would work through their fears or their insecurities or their whatever, or their bossy or controlling nature, or whatever it is that manipulates them. But I have a dream, and I can't keep waiting for other people to free themselves from what manipulates them. I wish you peace, and high vibe energy is being a leader in the world. I can love people and they're not freeing themselves from things that manipulate them. They in turn could have things and people in their life that they love, whether it's friends or family, or their fear or their defensiveness, or things they indulge in to make themselves feel better. But until they're willing to do the work to become independent of those things also, and they may never do it. If they were interested in doing that, they'd do it. And if they're not doing it, they maybe have no interest in being inspired to free themselves of those things, or their ego nature, or healing, or getting more balance within themselves, or dealing with their mental conflict. So I get out of my ego about it and accept that dream that I had, or if it was me living my life a certain way that I thought, wow, this is living the dream, I'm going to be so happy, and then it didn't work out the way I wanted, it's like, oh, I might need to change what I think will make me happy, because that caused me a lot of mental conflict and emotional confusion. And so maybe I need to quit investing in that and heal. So high vibe people are moving forward, detaching from an old way of living life or viewing life, or some people in their life, because they have a dream. And they're maintaining balance within themselves, listening to truth and love, aligning with their more hopeful, believing nature. They've emotionally grown and matured themselves, and they're inspired within themselves to take action to bring their dream into reality. And investing more of their time, energy, and effort into the people in their life who in turn are in that energy and are authentic and loving and encouraging, and working together with them in a just and fair way, and being loving and encouraging and supportive of each other, to keep not letting our own shadow nature and other people in shadowy energy manipulate us. Let's keep moving forward, being loving and encouraging people to kind of grow to our full potential, shine our authentic light in the world. And I think as you're doing that, there's some people in the world, again, who thought that, I'm going to hold back from you, and I don't believe that you'll love and believe in yourself, and I think you'll come back and want to do the relationship the way I want. And some of those people are like, I'm kind of confused. They seem to not be taking action towards me. From the Five of Swords to the Four of Swords. Did they really heal? Do they really believe in themselves? Have they really worked through some of their past pain and heartbreak and codependent nature? Or seen through the illusion of me? Are they really moving on? And as you keep taking this action, some of those people realize you're not going to stay in relationships with people who want you to backstab and betray yourself and your dream. They have their way of viewing life and how they want to live it. And you have your truth and how you want to live it. And you aren't willing to backstab yourself and your dreams. You're going to keep moving forward. And you've gotten out of your ego about it. And some of them can be confused about how you did that. Some of those people even held back from you and backstabbed and betrayed you. And for some of you who do that, that could be what you don't see coming. Some of the people that you were trying to work things out and heal a relationship with, because you kept loving and believing in yourself and weren't willing to let them kind of manipulate and control you, they're going to backstab you. And that will be another thing that will be confusing. I was the one putting in work and effort trying to heal this relationship and being loving and encouraging. And it's just one more sign you are not who I thought you were. You might have presented yourself a certain way, but that's not the truth of who you are. And that's one more thing that helps you close out a cycle and out of love for yourself. See through the illusion that you had of some people. And they're maybe more selfish, more immature, more manipulative. And move on. And let go of thinking. Every day that some people in your life aren't willing to work together with you in a more just and fair way is another day that shows you that they're not who you thought they were. And every day that helps you close out a cycle. And from the Four of Swords to the Ten of Swords is the Six of Swords, which is like the star card, Aquarius energy. My dream can't come into reality with them because their truth is different. I don't want to be in a relationship with people who are controlling or more about themselves or wearing a false mask and try to manipulate and control me. That's not love. And I see the truth that they're kind of maybe more immature. And, high vibe people offer truth and love to the situation. Other people try to manipulate and control people. Your truth is different than my truth. And eventually you heal and you are happy that you got out of it, because every day you're not in a relationship with someone who's being bossy or controlling or manipulative or confusing or immature or egotistical or full of themselves is a good day. And the more you keep realizing that, the more it sets you free to invest your time, energy, and effort into people who aren't that way. And those are the people your dream can come into reality with. What's coming up for people, and other people see you doing that. And other people are like, well, I could invest in people who are tempting me more with things of the world. Or I could hold back from those people. And instead, I could work through my own mental conflict about being more authentic and get more balance within myself and be more, why don't I love and believe in myself? Why am I not in relationships with people who are more just and fair? And I need to align with that energy within myself. And then some of those people kind of get out of their ego and work through some of their lack mentality and their past pain and heartbreak and hiding behind their ego nature to invest in loving and believing in themselves that they deserve justice. And then those people are going to be people who want to be in a relationship with you because you're someone who treats people the way you like to be treated. You're an emotionally mature, loving, encouraging person, and they want to be in a relationship with people who are like that. The other people could have enjoyed the relationship. It's just that they didn't want to have to get out of their ego and be more authentic. It's like, you can go. I'll go find someone else to invest in. And then they go invest in someone else, and they could think loving people are a dime a dozen. And then they could think, well, why don't you, the next person they get in a relationship, well, why don't you seem to be more caught up in the illusion of who I am and be more inspired to work with me in a just and fair way? Well, because everybody's different, and some of those people still have some lessons to learn, and some of those people could be more fearful of opening up. Some of those people could be a little wearing a false mask. And then it's like, because some people thought with some of the people they were in relationship with, that because you were the way you were towards them, it's like, oh my gosh, you must be that way because of who they are. Well, yes, if people are working together with you and kind of being loving and encouraging and supportive, and you can work together with them, but they could think, oh my goodness, like I could take this show on the road. Maybe I could go find someone with more status, more image, or someone who requires less of me. And then they go out in the world trying to find someone and find out that, well, you're supposed to act like this and this. That's what that person did. And the other people are like, well, I'm not that person. Well, I kind of thought that person was like that because of who I am. Maybe that person was the way they were because that's who they are. And it didn't have anything to do with you to a degree. And then that's confusing because some people thought it was because of who they were. And that's why certain people interacted with them and wanted to be in a relationship with them and were loving and encouraging and just thought it was all just more about them. But that would be a more egotistical, self-centered view of life, right? And it's that you weren't seeing the truth that some people were inspired to work together with you, not out of ego, but because they wanted to work together with you. And that naturally is the type of person they are. And it's like, oh. And yeah, some people didn't see the truth. But they might be unwilling to get out of their ego to admit, maybe I made a mistake. So while you move on, they might have to kind of create an illusion with someone else of how wonderful their life is. But they might find themselves more in relationships with people who, like them, are maybe creating more of illusions, some of them. And the people in their life who are being more authentic, that again, they might try to manipulate, those people might leave and say, you seem to have some illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. I'm leaving. And they're like, what? What's coming up for the shadowy people that they don't see coming? The Knight of Cups. Why? Because of the Sagittarius energy of temperance. So I kind of think life is about learning lessons. And I think when we're willing to learn the lessons and work through our mental conflict and our lack mentality and our emotional confusion and heal, and the Ten of Swords can talk about completing a cycle. At every phase of life, and we could be the same age as people and we could have known them all our life, but we have different things that kind of manipulate us and different fears and insecurities and ways that we can be manipulated in our lust or greed or our laziness or whatever, or our self-centered nature, whatever. That we all have certain lessons to learn at a certain stage of life. The people who are willing to see what wasn't working and in truth and love do this work within themselves to heal and get more balance within themselves and offer truth and love to the situation, those people get to move on to the next phase of life. And the other people are going to repeat an old phase of life. And they can always have more high vibrational people in their life who are offering them love to help them balance out their emotions, of what the Temperance card can talk about, to get more balance within themselves, to get out of their ego or their fear or their whatever. And if these people keep holding back from those people are going to move on. They've balanced out their emotions about the fact that I see that you are not ready to move forward differently. I am. I wish you peace. I'm moving on. And then, there might be someone new who comes into their life, and the people who are currently in their life, who view life the way they do, live life the way they do, those people are willing to maybe stay in relationship with them because they both could be either more about these things that they make important in their life or things they like to invest their time, energy, and effort into or indulge in. And those people also could have mental conflict about being more authentic or being in more deep, meaningful relationships or more just and fair and balanced relationships. And they're willing to keep moving forward with them in a relationship. And some people never want to free themselves from their ego nature. They let their ego nature run their life all their life. Their more hopeful, believing, loving nature just looks out through the eyeballs. But they don't ever invest in that. So they kind of leave out in the cold their more intuitive, loving nature and decide, nope, we could get hurt if you went out in the world. We're going to keep wearing our false mask and we're not going to invest in you. Because we have mental conflict about getting hurt or doing love or not being more about ourselves or the world. And we're just going to create this illusion. And we're going to try to get people to move forward with us in a relationship. The only problem is other people do listen to their intuition, and not everyone is more codependent or fearful or more worldly driven. You know, if they look stable and loving, people can get in a relationship with them for a while, but eventually people kind of work through the fact that it doesn't seem like it's really more motivated and inspired authentically by love. It's kind of the illusion of love. And I don't want to keep staying in a relationship where it never really seems to be more authentically driven by love. And those people move on. And some people, it is always about, well, I think people should love me. And that can be people who are caught up, maybe a narcissist, caught up in the illusion of who they are. And because I have this certain status or image or look a certain way or whatever, and that's just my truth, I think people should want to love me. Well, there might be someone who comes in, but, you know, there's kind of like always bigger fish in the sea. And there's other people who are like, huh, so you had people that you could have moved forward with, but that would have required you to kind of not align with your more worldly view of life. And some of those people are like, hey, I'm happy. I'm more aligned with my worldly view of life. I'll create an illusion with you. And I'll create the illusion that I'm more motivated and inspired by love and to be just and fair in a relationship. But really, I might just want to win at all costs. And so long as this looks good for me and my ego and my image, or I'm trying to manipulate someone else or try to control someone else or confuse someone else about the truth of who I am, hey, I'll stay in a relationship with you and move forward in a relationship with you, but it's not inspired by love. It's the illusion of love. And again, you know, so long as it works for me, it's good for my ego and my image and my status, I'll balance out my emotions about being in a relationship with someone who I might not even really want to be in a relationship with. Someone who really I could have a problem with. And there can definitely be things I don't like about them. But if the most important thing is to create this illusion, no, I've moved on. Look, I've healed. No, look. That's shadowy Leo energy. Look. For some people, that's the most important thing. I need to create this illusion that I'm not the person I was, that I'm this more emotionally mature, stable, balanced, loving person. And if someone else comes along, or someone from my past who I really would like to be in a relationship with, kind of starts to think maybe they judged me wrong, and maybe they want to be in a relationship with, oh, see ya, I'm going to go get in a relationship with this person. You know, so I was kind of using other people just to create an illusion about who they are, or to try to manipulate someone else. But I think the more high vibe people in their life have seen through the illusion and they're no longer an illusion, they just don't know that those people have moved on. And it probably won't be till later that it's like, oh shit. When they finally, I don't know, either finally in the Eight of Wands, you know, and some people are just healing. I'm just taking time to invest in me and heal and grow and mature myself and maybe my career. And maybe once I feel like, or I even waiting till I meet someone who's the right person. And while some people are waiting to meet the right person, some other people are thinking, oh, no. And they could be holding back from moving forward in other relationships because they think, well, that person hasn't moved on with one, so I think they're going to come back. But they don't realize the other person has no interest in being in a relationship with them anymore. So really, the only person they were kind of deceiving and manipulating themselves, as they might kind of realize later, was themselves. The other people have moved on. And when they see the truth, they'll have to balance out their emotions that someone who they thought was going to come back and be in a relationship with them or indulge them in their ego isn't. And they will maybe try to hide that they're in their ego about it, and they might be really mad, and then they're going to go create an illusion with someone else. The illusion continues. So there you go, Scorpio. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.